Yeah, so they're looking at what they're calling mid-air haptic, which is kind of like I don't know, what would you call it? Like radio waves, sound waves that
Okay.
can
Yeah.
actually like project where you are using tracking, and then send that signal, say, to your hand, and then your hand, I don't know, it must be like this fuzzy feeling, or it feels like someone is touching your hand or your skin, um,
Mm,
which is pretty insane, man.
that's crazy. Dude, all I have in my head is like the billboard on Ready Player One, like, feel the real, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Already Player
like,
One covered that, right?
yeah, they have some of that in there. Um, but dude, this is what makes the metaverse like real, you know? Like we're gonna have so many cool things visually. What happens, when you are able to feel, while you're in these things. So like we kind of saw the early birth of this with like movie theaters, because there are temperature, regulating theaters, and there are seats with, shock or vibration,
Yeah,
wind, snow. There are like these crazy theaters out there that like mimic environment. So like taking that stuff, putting it into like a bodysuit or some kind of wearables, like you said, um, it's just gonna be like insane. Why are you laughing at me, Archetype? He
I
just
am.
looks at me and
It's your
laughs. What the
face.
hell? Is it my angle? I knew I had it off. I
You
knew
need
I
to
had
get
it
your
off.
best side, man.
Anyways, I'm gonna go up a little bit, and oh man,
There we go.
shoot! I almost had it.
Uh, so this is uh,
Dude, do I have to like go off camera?
just, can you do like the elevator thing where you come up? Ready? I'll introduce you. Ready? Go down. Go like right down. Okay. Welcome everybody to the Metaverse podcast. My name's Archetype, and I am joined by my host, coming up in the elevator right now, Atlas Theory.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode.
Dude,
Excited.
where were you? Look like you come from the basement.
Yeah. Go back down. It's my
Uh,
meta elevator. My
we've,
metavator.
we've just been playing around with like intros to the podcast, and I'm hoping that's not the best one.
It's the one we have.
We'll roll with that. We'll roll with that.
Yeah. Oh man. This week in the metaverse, this episode, first of all, let's just like go into it. Um Preface it a little bit before we get into what we've been up to. What would you call this kind of episode? Like just
Wow. It's a bit of a news update, really, isn't it?
yeah, little state of the metaverse, little
Yeah.
news, breaking news. Yeah,
Yeah.
that all kind of ties in together.
Yeah, we were talking about having like a regular news segment, which I think we'll have, but as we started to dive in, there was just quite a lot to cover, wasn't there? So we're kind of
Mm-hmm.
thinking that this one is going to be a bit of a news update. We're just going to hit on like some high points, not too much detail, but just what's in the news, in the metaverse news, and for you guys to riff off that, go and do your own research into the ones that you might think are interesting topics. But yeah, we've got quite a list today, man. Some interesting
Dude, there's some
stuff.
exciting stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to go into this here. But
Mm.
what is Archetype been up to this week in the metaverse?
Ooh, I never give much detail, but this week I've just been gaming, man. I've had a bit of
Oh,
yeah, just like a little bit of a reset with my brain. Just getting a little bit stuck in the mud with my list of jobs, and rather than be an adult and tackle them head on, I've just decided to just have a little bit of a brain break and getting into some VR gaming and
oh, nice.
yeah, got myself a HOTAS set up now, and so I've just been exploring like different space-based games, and with the headset
Hell
and the
yeah.
HOTAS, it's just it's pretty special, man. I'm pretty spoiled.
I'm so jealous right now, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be there someday.
What about you, man?
uh,
What have you been up to?
well, I wanted to do more this week, I think, in the metaverse. And then I found a 40-minute long overview of new Harry Potter game footage, the Hogwarts game, and I kind of like went down that rabbit hole. But Metaverse specifically, um, I guess there's a lot I can't talk about until maybe next week, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So
No little alpha
leave
you
it
want to leave
there.
there? Some little hints?
I can't. I don't think I can.
Okay.
No.
But you've been busy, right?
Um, yeah, I've been busy. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Good. Very good.
Yes. So, looking at these articles here, you want to like, dude, we kind of saw this beginning with Reddit, but PlayStation, they
Hmm.
just did a patent now about this digital collectibles, which I think was the same term Reddit used, if I'm not mistaken. So you want to dive into this a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's quite funny. This new terminology, digital collectible, which I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a problem with. I don't mind that terminology, and I understand why they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do it. But
Yeah.
there's some maxis out there that are saying like it's not NFTs, it's digital collectibles. Like we can't use the word NFT anymore. It's like a four-letter word. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, dude. Like we saw it very successful like on Reddit, and I think it's what needs to happen. Kind of bringing in the state of the metaverse there. I think that we have some terms that need to be redefined, but also renamed. And I think digital collectibles coming from NFTs is definitely one of them because we've had such a harsh push from artists and gamers um, against that NFT term. So it definitely needs to be redefined. And I think people, it's kind of like slipping in there, because we
Yeah,
all know it's the future. It's just, it doesn't have to be called an NFT, you know?
yeah, yeah. That's true.
Um,
I kind of see it like people will start adopting this name, but then it'll get shortened again back to NFT
yeah.
or something else. But yeah, I think
Mm,
the stigma behind NFT is gamers kind of see it as like a money grab, I guess. Um,
yeah.
but once they realize like you can either pay what is it, $60 US roughly for a game. Um, once they see the utility and the fact that you can like on-sell your assets, and you're probably like
Mm,
with some games not paying as much as $60. Like there's going to be
yeah.
games out there that you can pay less. I think once they see that, then they'll start to understand that it's probably a good thing, and you know, it they don't have to learn like that whole side of things. Like if they want to buy
Mm,
their digital collectible through like a fiat on ramp through an interface where they have no idea that it's blockchain or an asset that they can take custody of, leave it
mhm,
on the exchange or the platform that they bought it from, then they can do what they want with that. But if they want to go like a deeper
yeah.
dive into it and realize, yes, you have ownership of this thing and you can get that off and put it into a wallet and hold custody and on sell it, then give them that flexibility and that option. I think that would be a good way to approach it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Also, like one thing that just kind of popped in my head that I remember experiencing earlier on is coming from Pokemon community, or really any collectible community. NFT already has a place as a term, because you'll see a lot of things called NFS/NFT, and it means not for sale, not for trade. So,
Okay.
like, yeah, coming in from like that collectible mindset, which we are going to branch into as we become, a wider gamer community, is that NFT is kind of already has a place, So we might need a new one anyways.
Yeah.
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 So
Agreed. Yeah. So it looks like PlayStation, they've actually put out a patent for digital collectibles. So that's always like a good tell. I know people like hunt. They're on the hunt for different companies listing different patents to sort of get the scoop on what's going to be upcoming. So we definitely know like PlayStation, along with other big brands, are looking into this digital collectible.
yeah.
So it's coming. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, dude, it is.
Yeah.
Like we know it is. It's just like how it's what the term is yeah, open for the market to decide, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what else is in the news, man? What else have you been seeing?
Oh man. Well, what I've been seeing from your notes. So I actually did see this one on my own. Is like Apple wanting to compete kind of in the metaverse arena. But what I didn't see is this specific job listing, which is for a 3D mixed reality world. Yes. Let's dive into that. What is Arktype thinking?
Yeah, so I think that they've been recruiting pretty heavily. So I think they posted something like 1,000 new positions, and one of them in particular was for someone who had experience developing this 3D mixed reality world. So mixed reality is another terminology. I think because we're in this dawn of a new era, there is different terminology that's being thrown around. And mixed reality, you may have also heard augmented reality or AR. So mixed reality is basically that. And what I find interesting is that these headset companies that are traditionally like a VR are starting to go for marketing their products as mixed reality, and we sort of got a glimpse of that with the Quest Pro, where the outward-facing cameras on this headset allows you to see in pretty good clarity, but then you can overlay like some cool graphics and have it either semi-immersive or fully immersive, just like a flick of a switch, which I think is pretty cool. It's not they're so bulky. I don't know if people are going to be walking around the street with these things, but it's getting there. It's slowly getting there, man. Like technology is going to get smaller and smaller until these things will be everywhere.
Right. No, it is like we've talked a lot in this podcast, but also off, just like how big mixed reality will be, and this overlay of the real world, and like you say, it's probably not these glasses. So like watching this stuff kind of evolve is really fun, but you don't really realize exactly how big the impact is, because sometimes my mind is still like, oh, it's big clunky glasses, like whatever. Like even I'm like that sometimes, but like you're saying, that's just gonna get smaller and smaller very fast.
Like we already know that there's companies doing like mixed reality, augmented reality headsets and glasses. What was it? Meta and Ray-Ban teamed up for their version of like their glasses with the camera. There's
Yeah.
some other companies doing some pretty innovative stuff. But what I like is that Apple don't really come to the party straight away.
Right.
They usually wait and see like what's happening with the market, and then once they do jump in, what they have is they have this global distribution, and that's where like I think it's fascinating because we're starting to see these other companies develop it, but once Apple gets involved with their global distribution and their fan base of customers, they never do things by halves. If they're going to develop a product, it's usually like a pretty good one. So if they're looking into this, man, like we can expect
Yeah.
to see these in stores within the next few years, and then
Yeah.
um, you know phone stores, like telecommunication stores and stuff like that, offering them just like they do with handsets, like on a 24-month plan. People will be upgrading all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. They are really good at making the user experience like, or taking the user experience to like the next level and making it just like a beautiful like lifestyle, esque brand. So that is going to be fun because that is kind of I'm not going to go into it. I don't have an Apple phone if that gives any hint, but I might need to get one.
If they
Yeah.
had Apple glasses, would you partake?
Are there also Android glasses? No, I probably would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
I
I
think
mean,
once you see the utility of them, everyone will want
yeah,
some, I reckon.
yeah. I mean, like it's already like almost necessary for what I want to do because we've talked a lot, and Apple has um, some things in their phone that a lot of these VR apps and AR apps are already using, and implementing, and these tools already exist on the Apple side. So I probably need to go pick some up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else, man? I'm seeing a lot from gaming companies in these
Mm.
headlines. One in particular is pretty cool. One I've been following is Fractal. So Fractal
Oh yeah.
is, yeah, I guess I would compare them to like a Steam, like Steam gaming.
Yeah.
They're sort of
Mm.
like a library of different blockchain games, um, and they've got I think it's over like 50 games on there at the moment. They've
Yeah.
done $20 million in sales so far.
Nice.
Pretty crazy. Um,
Yeah.
but they're looking to go multi-chain, man. So currently they're on Solana,
Mm.
and the founder Justin Khan, he's talked about branching out now onto Ethereum layer one, which is interesting.
That is. He was a founder of Twitch too, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome. I think I do have some fractals. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure, but I'll have to go look at that because yeah, I knew they were on Solana, but that's really cool of like them branching out because that's needed, especially for their type of platform.
Hmm.
Bringing that accessibility to maybe people coming in for the first time who want to play and they don't really care about which chain. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like obviously anything in the Ethereum ecosystem is going to attract a lot more people, but
Hmm.
from a practical side, I don't know how that's going to work. You know, gas fees and um, transaction speeds and things like that. I'm wondering, it was specifically mentioned that Ethereum layer one, so I don't know if they run on the Ethereum blockchain or whether they're gonna, look to utilize Polygon or some of these other layer two
Hmm.
protocols for their gaming.
Yeah. That'll be really interesting to see what they use. I actually need to go look at a list of like layer 1s and 2s on Ethereum because it's been a while. Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff though. Yeah. And this one is where like I like the idea, like, oh, Fractal, I know that name. I know they were started on Solana, but like as far as to what they're actually doing is like I'm a little less, I can speak a little less on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I got another one here from news from Shrapnel. Have you heard of Shrapnel?
The name sounds familiar.
Okay,
so you have to remind me.
No, that's cool. So Shrapnel is one I've been following on the Twitterverse. I haven't got into it yet, but Shrapnel is it's from a game company that's been sort of spun out of HBO, and they've done things. Yeah, so the creators from that they've worked on things like Halo, Call of Duty, Madden, NFL. So they're kind of big hitters as far as the developers and the creators go. And Shrapnel is it's a first-person shooter, and from what I've seen, Unreal Engine level of quality, but it looks like very different. The camera angles and stuff like that, like as you're running, you're not getting that just straight view. No movement. It's actually the camera, like it feels like you've got like a GoPro on with your character, and so you're running and you're like sliding behind things, and it's a lot more immersive, which I think would be cool if it was if they eventually go to like a VR.
That would be sick, dude. And now that you're like talking about it, I think I remember seeing a clip. It probably was Shrapnel from your you explaining it, but it looked real.
Yeah.
Like when I saw it, and I was like, oh wait, that's a game. Yeah, it was definitely that GoPro view. Yeah.
I've played like a few first person shooters on VR, and what I love about it is that movement. You're not getting this like steady camera that's just like following the player. And the other thing that I love in VR with gaming is, you can't just go out and just Rambo and just like spray a whole clip and then one click, one button, just reload, and it's so easy. The thing that I love about like first person shooters in VR is like you have to consciously think about your bullet count, and then when you get low, you have to think about getting behind some cover, because the actual reload process is manual. Like you're actually doing the things like putting a new magazine in and loading back the bolt, and it takes time. And so I love when companies are seeing like different ways to get more immersive with just the same things that we're used to, because it adds such reality to the whole thing, to the whole process.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. I really like that. I need to get some VR stuff, man.
Yeah. You've talked about getting.
I'll go. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yo, you've talked about getting a gaming PC.
Yeah.
Are you any closer to deciding which one, what you might get?
No, but I'm $150 even further away because I picked up a Sammy Banks today on Startup.
Yeah, Sammy Banks. Yes, you never know, man. That could be a collector's item.
It's true. Yeah. But I was looking at some kind of pre-built that is made for creators using Unreal Engine 5. So like, I'm not too technical, so I don't think I could like buy pieces and put it together. So I probably will buy from like that was on iBuyPower, so I might actually go pick up something like that, and then look into other VR options.
Yeah, it's a hard choice. If you're wanting to get into gaming, like it's almost like, do you go the PC route or do you go like these newer headsets that are coming out? So it's a hard choice.
It is.
Mm.
It is. Collectability, I might go by, see how much like the first, quest was or whatever,
Yeah.
and just keep it sealed. But I think, like we were just talking about, technology is going to improve so fast that like what is even being used now is not going to be good in like a year, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so it's hard to invest money into the area. I will have
Mm.
to admit, but I should just to get into some practice. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned
But
like that collectible thing. I think I saw, was it the first Super Mario Brothers game? Like the old
mhm.
cartridge, and it was still in its box, untouched. And I can't remember the figure, but it went for crazy amounts. And I think the dude bought he bought it, and then he got like a second copy for a present or something when he was young, and so he always just kept that second copy just like untouched. And it went for a crazy amount of money. So yeah, I like the idea, man. Like, the
Mhm.
original headset, we're gonna look back on it one day and just sort of like laugh, but then also
Yeah.
it's gonna be worth a lot of money.
Yeah. There
Mm.
will be a metaverse museum where you'll have every iteration of the quest lined up and behind glass. Like
Yeah,
that will happen,
for sure.
So yeah, just having that. I don't know, I've always been a collector, so I'm lucky to have like gained that foresight.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
Mm. I still have my old like um, Sega Master System and Super Nintendo consoles, and so every
mm,
now and again, I'll dig them out and play them just for the nostalgia.
hell yeah, dude, that's so awesome.
But
Uh,
yeah, dude. Speaking of old school consoles, Sega, they're in the news. They
oh,
are looking to do a blockchain game.
are they really?
Yeah, yeah. So probably not the titles that we're used to. Um,
Yeah.
so the gaming company that is actually going to develop this game is called Double Jump Tokyo. Um, I'm
Mm.
guessing out of Japan, and they're looking at doing a virtual cards and in a virtual field. So I'm guessing like a turn-based type style with collectibles. And as you know, like in
Mm.
Japan, like trading cards, collectibles, all those sorts of things. That's a pretty big market.
That's massive.
Mm.
Yeah, dude, it's real life Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that whole show is like playing real cards, but then the projections, of those cards interacting. That's gonna be standard playing cards. Yeah,
Yeah. Once
in the future.
going back to like the whole, you're talking about the mixed reality. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
basically. Yeah, and I think in the show it was a hologram, so maybe that'll happen anyways. But like the first step is definitely that mixed reality, that AR, glasses going on. So
Yeah. We talked about it,
mhm.
right? Like the Pokemon battles
Yeah,
at scale, like in a park where you've got these 10-foot Pokemons battling.
yeah, definitely.
But what's cool is like you could scale that down, and like if you're just in an indoor setting, you could have them playing like on a tabletop, like with your friends.
Hmm. And it just adds something to it.
Mm.
The whole experience. Yeah,
Yeah, I think like
I don't know how to describe it.
once you start going collectibles, you have much more of a vested interest in the
Mm.
whole thing. Whereas if you just
Yeah,
have just the game itself, it doesn't really feel as much like you're a part of it.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's going to be like the main difference, and has been the problem with NFTs that I think people are starting to realize is like you can't have an NFT to play a game. It has to be part of the game. It needs to be a free to play
Yeah.
game. Um, and your skins can change, your guns can change. That can all be NFT, but like So, early day NFTs were like, hey, here's our game we're building. To play the game, you need one of our NFTs. It just, yeah,
I
it
think that
doesn't really
turns
work.
away. It turns away people like straight away. It's the
Yeah.
whole onboarding system. Like I was having a look at a game last night. Um, Looked really cool. It was on Solana blockchain, so that made it easy for me because I'm pretty native with all that sort of thing. Um,
Hmm.
Went on the website, couldn't really work out where to download the game or how to play the game. Jumped in their
Hmm.
Discord. Again, couldn't really see where to download the client, what I needed
Hmm.
to actually play it. And it took me a bit of messaging before I could actually find out how to do it. And it was using a different platform that I hadn't used before to
Hmm.
mint the NFT. And uh, it turned me away, to be honest. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
not a novice. I didn't have experience with it, and so I have had a limited time to sort of have a look, do some research, and if it had taken me say 10 minutes to get into that game, buy an NFT or just to download the client and to start there
Hmm.
and to test the game and to feel, do I want to spend half a soul or one soul on getting into this game? It turned me away, to be honest. And I think if they had
Yeah.
had a free version of the game to play first, see if I like it, and then have some ownership in the game and
Hmm.
up upgrade my character or weapon or something like that, um,
Hmm.
I would have been hooked. But yeah, it's just that friction at the start.
Yeah. It really is. Like, no one wants to go to a million places just to play a game. Yeah.
Mm,
Here's the game. You can download it, start playing. Yeah. And then you get
yeah,
attached. Like,
yeah,
have
exactly.
things like guilds or, careers or whatever, and you want your clothing to match that. Like,
Mm,
you're going to upgrade. Yeah.
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 Well, here's the hook, right? You have the game free to play.
Mm-hmm.
You are aware that if you want to, you can purchase NFTs. Um, but you have something in that first sort of launch of the game, that first tutorial or first like level of the game, that if you complete it, then you win something. And it could be something very small, some sort of item, some sort of collectible. And it's like, if
Yeah.
you want to claim this thing, like you need to get yourself this wallet, or you need to download from this thing, or you need to mint it from here for free, or,
Mm.
something. I mean, like, how quickly is
Yeah.
someone going to claim something if they think that they want it? They're going to do a little bit of
Right.
investigating and work out how to do it. I think that's the hook.
That's smart. That's
Mm,
smart. Yeah. Because after we like bringing Pokemon into it, after we go into the tall grass and we have that first battle, and we receive that free first Pokemon we're going to take our journey on, we'd find anywhere to claim that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'd download a wallet for sure. Yeah,
Mm.
no, that's really really cool.
And there's also like
Yeah,
companies that do it where you can send, say, some Bitcoin to someone, even if they don't
yeah,
have Bitcoin. Um, and then they get like an email or a text notification saying, "Hey, like this person just sent you some Bitcoin. Like it's
mm,
yours. Like it's safe. It's here. And when you're ready, click this link, set up a wallet, and you can claim it." So
yeah.
that sort of thing. People are already thinking about. Like it's definitely worth, I think, game companies looking into that, for sure.
Mm, yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, that's the way. Speaking of like these games here, I see that we have a few other points. One of them being Unreal Engine 5, the new version was released. I've seen like only a little bit of it with a few Unreal Engine character creators that I follow.
Mhm.
Um, but other than that, have you seen much on this new release, or really know what like the uh, the shining star of this new release was?
Yeah, so this is 5.1. So this is the sort of next major update to Unreal Engine 5. So it's a pretty major
Mm,
update. And so I think that they've just had a lot of feedback from users using the new Unreal. So a lot of it
Okay.
is coming from sort of like the developer side of things, not so much like what we might see as a gamer or might notice as a gamer.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of back end stuff, things like workflow, collaboration on larger scale models. So, for example, my day job, I'm a 3D designer, and I work for a luxury motor yacht company. So they have like a particular model of boat, like an 80-foot like motor yacht, and there's many different
Hmm.
trades that are working in on that one model. So in particular, I do like the interior, the joinery, the interior look of the whole thing, and then you've got
Hmm.
people like the naval architect working on the hull. You've got the electrical engineers doing all the systems and wiring, and so there's multiple people working on this one model. And when you're talking about a file that you need to save, there's a little bit of logistics that go into the back end where you need to be able to have it so people can all work on the one file, but then they can all save the individual things. And then you can have like a live update so you can, hit refresh and see the other elements that people are working on so that you can collaborate and work with. So I think there's a bit of work that's been done on that back end. To allow for gaming companies to work together in individual little segments and little sections of, say, a 3D world, which I think is pretty exciting, pretty interesting. It's definitely an asset that works well in my day job, and so I think companies are just going to get faster at developing with these new updates in Unreal Engine, which is pretty exciting.
Hmm. It's really, really exciting.
Hmm.
Oh man, yeah, I don't have much to say on that, but yeah, just helping developers with that is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about in this episode?
Yeah, I got two more points. Speaking
Okay.
of Unreal, um, there was a news article I saw. I dismissed quite a few times because I thought it was just a meme or a joke, but
Uh,
turns out it's real, man. So I'm talking about I don't know if you've seen it. Maybe you've seen the image. It's a VR headset, and it's got these three things coming out the top, and the headline reads like, "You die in the game, you die in real life."
oh no.
Yeah. So I eventually clicked
True.
on it. I read the article. Um, it's
Yeah.
pretty insane. So Palmer Luckey is the founder of Oculus. He's the one that created Oculus. Eventually sold to
Hmm.
Meta. And he, so he developed this thing, and he says that he wanted to have it where you die in the game, you die in real life, and it adds a certain level of anticipation and realism to the game.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. So considering he's still around, I'm guessing he hasn't tried it. Or either that or he's just very skilled.
Oh man. I wonder how many people would actually try
Yeah.
that.
Anyone with a
So
death
it's like
wish.
these things that like shoot you in the head, or what do they do?
So I think it was based off something in the game, like the lore story or like the technical aspect in the game. It was something about like lasers or something that would shoot you. And he was saying like
Hmm.
he couldn't get that technology into this headset. So instead he just went with this small explosive charge that just shoots a projectile into your forehead. Um, I don't know why you would make something like this, but I guess it's a good thought experiment. I guess.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Just
Rated
have you,
E for everyone.
yeah, just have your worst enemy come around. Hey, like I got this new headset. You want to try
I
it?
got a game.
Yeah.
want to play a game.
Don't bother putting it on like novice. Like that's real easy. Like put it on expert when you start this game up.
Ooh,
Yeah. But on a
yeah,
more
that's
serious
awesome.
tone, my last bit of news is coming full circle. We started with PlayStation. Is
Hmm,
coming back to PlayStation. They
hmm.
have something that they've been developing in the haptic world.
Oh,
Yes. So for those listening, haptics, it's sort of part and parcel with VR. It's a technology that companies are trying to work in collaboration with things like virtual reality and augmented reality. And it's basically just haptics is like a way of giving the user feedback within the game. So different wearables that might have the sensation of touch, feel,
hmm.
pressure, things like that. Um, yeah, so they're looking at what they're calling mid-air haptic, which is kind of like I don't know, what would you call it? Like radio waves, sound waves that
Okay.
can
Yeah.
actually like project where you are using tracking and then send that signal say to your hand, and then your hand, I don't know, it must be like this fuzzy feeling, or it feels like someone is touching your hand or your skin, um,
Hmm.
which is pretty insane, man.
That's crazy, dude. All I have in my head is like the billboard on Ready Player One, like feel the real.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Ready Player
like
One covered that, right?
yeah, they have some of that in there. Um, but dude, this is what makes the metaverse like real. You know, like we're gonna have so many cool things visually, but what happens, when you are able to feel, while you're in these things. So like we kind of saw the early birth of this with like movie theaters, because there are temperature, regulating theaters, and there are seats with, shock or vibration,
Yeah,
wind, snow. There are like these crazy theaters out there that like can mimic environment. So like taking that stuff, putting it into like a bodysuit or some kind of wearables, like you said, um, it's just gonna be like insane.
yeah. It's like something that, well, it Sony did say like that. They're going to develop this for VR and AR and things like that. But they did say that there would be a market for immersive cinemas. So yeah, like
Mm,
it probably you'd see them first at like your Disneyland or some of your theme parks
yeah,
first. Like you were saying, with the different motion and the wind and all that sort of stuff. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, just imagine that, man. Like I'm wondering, like in a game, like what would that be? Like for PlayStation to come out with it? Is it? Have you got any ideas of what sort of applications they could use that for?
Yeah, the shouts in Skyrim. You could just get blasted. No. By something. No, well, I could think of a view that I'm going to talk about on here. Um, but let's see, what would be some good ones? Yeah, any type of like fighting game would be really cool.
Mm,
Just to like, it doesn't have to be too painful, but just a boom, you get a little hit when somebody's like punching you in the ring.
yeah,
Um,
you know when someone's tagged
yeah,
you.
just the yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, that's
I was thinking like
you go. Yeah.
explosions. Like imagine like you got like a rocket
Mm,
launcher and you like shoot this thing, and depending on how far back you are is the pressure that you feel from that thing. Like just those little
mm,
subtleties. Like I know you talked about being punched and stuff like that, but yeah, just some of those like feels, and it could be as strong as like a shockwave that comes at you. But imagine if you could dial
yeah.
that technology back down and you could just feel this sort of like a sensation of like a light breeze. even that, even
Yeah,
just that little
a
subtlety.
trickle, a trickle of rain. Yeah,
Oh, little
or
raindrops.
like,
Yes.
yeah, just like a patter. Yeah,
Mm,
that'd be insane.
yeah.
Hmm.
That could be used, going into like not even gaming, but like storytelling. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Because
Hmm.
you can trick your mind like pretty easily. Like, imagine you have the sound in combination with the visuals, so you hear the wind and you see like some leaves like slightly blowing, and then you get that sensation of that midair haptics just like blowing on your skin just gently. um it's a combination of
Mm.
those things that trick your mind.
Yeah. Oh wow. I could go on forever in this topic. We should sometime.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
it on our list, man. Haptics. I would love to
Haptics.
do haptics. Maybe we could do that for the next episode.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. We should. Yeah, let's get into some haptics
Hmm.
because there's a lot of use cases there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but cool, dude. This metaverse stuff is coming. Like we're getting patents. People are trying to evolve, bringing it more and more to the real life and fast.
Hmm.
So the metaverse, while it might seem like it's on a downtrend, you know, um, maybe because it's also closely tied to crypto and that's kind of down right now. But there's people working full speed on it, so it's gonna just blow our minds.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, that's a wrap. Great episode. I love that. I think we'll have to introduce like the news into our segment more often because there's a lot to cover
Yeah.
off on. So I think a small little segment to keep our listeners up to date would be good. And before
Hmm.
we go, let's have our community shout out. Last week was my
Yeah.
turn. We had Moby Wright from the AI world. Do you have anyone this week?
Yeah, I have to go with Meta Captain. So Meta Captain I met through the Cyberfox project. Um, and they have a website called Unreal Assets, which relates heavily to like everything we're talking about. They build out, using Unreal Engine 5 and other programs, um, 3D assets, armor, characters, and so on. And they're working on a game right now. I believe it's called Light Souls. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out Meta Captain. We'll put the Twitter in the description. Go check them out. Um, Listener of the podcast. Always enjoy talking to them. So yeah, it's sick stuff. We'll put some stuff on the screen, guys. But I actually will be going to Meta Captain for my 3D character and other on side characters as well. So I can't wait to get those out to you guys as well.
Awesome. Well, for those listening, yeah, check out MetaCaptain, link in the description. And also, if you want to find out more from us, we have a website, which is metaversedpodcast.com. And there you'll be able to check out all our episodes. We also have links to our personal accounts. So everything that Atlas Theory and myself are doing, you can get on there and you can check out what we've been up to, what we're creating in the metaverse. And if you enjoy this podcast, give us a rating, give us a like, get on our Twitter page and give us a comment. We're often posting on there and we'd love to hear your feedback.
Oh, yeah. I'll see you guys next time.